Do you know when you say you want to talk to someone, and as conversation is going on, you realize that you're talking to this person as you're talking to yourself as much as you're talking to this person? Yes, that's how I felt when I tried to start this sermon. I've tried this my third attempt, and I'm hoping that it will go through this time. Welcome to Coffee with Temi. How are you? How have you been? So this is going to be a continuation of my I think this is the third one of my talk on relationships. Today, I'm going to look at us and what we bring to a relationship, which is why I've said the baggage, the baggage we carry. And it's so funny that this came up from a book that I've been putting off from reading. I haven't read it never. So spoiler alert, for those of you who may be reading it or want to read the book, it's Night Bloom by Peace Adzo. I can't pronounce her last name, so I really don't want to kill it. I'm going to leave it like that. She's a Ghanaian writer, and she writes beautifully. So, Night Bloom, according to the preview, says it's about two girls. But really, when I read this book, by the time I finished it, it's really about three of them. It's about the two girls, yes, mainly. It's about the mother of one of them. When we're in a relationship, what do? We come with who we are. You say, accept me as I am. What you see is what you get. But the truth is, what you see is not what you get. Because your background, your other relationships, if you've had some before, your family, your culture, there are all sorts of things that you're bringing into this new relationship, right? And I look at this story, and I even though I'm saying spoiler alert, at the same time, I don't want to spoil in case somebody wants to read it. So that these are two cousins by marriage, two girls were cousins by marriage, and one is well-to-do, the other is not. Unfortunate, and they were as tight as thieves. Unfortunately, the one who was not so rich, the mother died, and she assumed, and even I assumed, when I was reading it, that the other woman was going to take her in and bring her up as a daughter. She brought her in kind of reluctantly, I think, and then she just wouldn't treat her the way she used to when her mother was alive. And it actually brought to my mind this and that. It said, no one can love your child as much as you do, with the exception of those horrible parents. No one can love your child as much as you. No one can do exactly what you will do because you know your child more than anyone. Anyway, she began to show her true colors. And as you read in the book, you realize that it's because of our upbringing, our own mom. So this is yes. So our own mom will be one of the girls' grandmother had been badly treated by the family she married into, and they came out of this really shattered and became coolers. When I say they, the mother and our siblings, they became one against everybody else. Everything was against the world. It was me against the world. And I don't think she realized it, but what happened in the end is the way these girls got treated. The poor one was raped by the uncle of the rich one, and the rich one at one point also was sexually molested by the same uncle. When it happened to the poor girl, nothing was done about it. She ran away from the house because by then she was already being treated like a slave, really. She ran away from the house. Unfortunately, she got pregnant. She had an abortion in school because she was still in school. And this older one, the rich one, went to America to study medicine. And she then got sexually molested by the same man in her auntie's house. And what did the mother do? It was covered up. Nobody must hear about this. Even the father of the girl was not told. And this just destroyed this girl. It totally destroyed this girl. So there's a poor one in Ghana who didn't get to travel, who was destroyed by this man and the way this family had treated her. And there's the rich one who is now in America studying medicine, destroyed not just by what this guy has done, but the fact that a mother, because that's basically a mother, rather looked after her own family. And this, so for her, I don't think she realized it was me and my siblings against everyone, even if it meant sacrificing my daughter. Now, this is the background for these girls. And all this obviously happens as you go and read in the book. And they eventually did become successful in the different pursuits that they did go into, but it was there. The rich one decided not to study medicine to spite her mother so that her mother will not be able to say, my daughter is a doctor. She'd left her love for, her first love for a career. And the other one also became successful. But she had what we will look at and say, she's got such a huge chip on her shoulder. And this brings me to what I'm saying today. Sometimes our responses to certain things, it's not about what is happening right now, but because of things that have happened. So this poor girl became quite militant in her thinking. She would not take any nonsense from anyone. And oh my word, if it was a man, she really was not going to take that nonsense. And it wasn't just because she was proud or arrogant, but she had not been treated well by men. Her father, I don't want to talk about everything that happened in the book. Her father also had not treated her well. The men in her life generally had not treated her well, except, funny enough, the father of the rich girl. And so we have two women. Oh, I'm sweating so much. It's so hot. It's so hot here. So we've got two women who are basically damaged. They are damaged. And truth be told, almost all of us are damaged in one way or the other. It might be relationships. It might be male-female. It might be family relationships. It might be demands that have been made on us. Then we meet somebody new. And what are we doing? We're judging them by where we're coming from. We're looking at them and we're thinking, oh, I know what you're going to do. You're going to behave like all the men. I know you men. Oh, I know you women. You're liars. Maybe we need to take a pause button. When we meet someone, it's not possible to say, I'm going to erase what has happened to me. But what is possible is, let's start afresh. Let's start a new book. Let's not just a new chapter, but let's start a new book. Let's try not to judge. Now, these two girls, or young women as they are now, they didn't get counseling. They didn't get help from anyone. In fact, they didn't tell anyone. The whole thing came up somewhere along the line in the book. And it was a shock to the girl, the rich girl, that this had happened to another girl and that her mother knew about it. But the mother kept claiming that it was this girl's fault because she was going around in tight dresses or whatever. She felt the girl, she wanted to believe. That's what I'm going to say. She wanted to believe that it wasn't her brother's fault, but rather it was the girl who was throwing herself at him. This was a teenager. At least for once, her daughter saw that this was a teenager. How did she throw herself at him? What could she have done? He was an adult. He should know better. And then it happened to her, and her mother still didn't do anything, rather kept it quiet. This thing of keeping it in the family, don't let anybody know, has destroyed so many women. And unfortunately, it's more the women that this happens to. It has destroyed so many women because they know that what has happened is the family has chosen the other person over them. Even if it says the family name, it also means you've chosen everybody else in the family except me. It means that they are worthy of your concern more than I am. Their feelings deserve more than my feelings do. And because we don't get counseling, these two girls didn't get counseling. They didn't talk to anybody about it. We need to let go. And in letting go, before we can get into anything new, before we can start. If you listen to my podcast, Swipe Left, you will hear how women are feeling now. And for some of them, I think, some of them have told me they're not even going to bother to look and be hopeful about a relationship because what they're singing is what they have gone through. Okay? They're not, and I'm not making light of it because I know you're probably going to watch this. I'm not making light of it. I know, feelings have been hurt and I won't say sentiments, but if we treat everyone this way, one, we're not going to move forward. Two, we're not going to get love, even when the love is staring us in the face. And then what? I know of someone who got a proposal from a man and she's been waiting to marry. But unfortunately, she had also been there before where somebody proposed to her and then disappointed her at the last minute. And when this person came, she just thought, oh, not another one, you're here again. Unfortunately, this man was really serious about getting married. And then she found out about a few months later that the guy married somebody because he really wanted to marry. And she almost went mad. She almost went mad because this was something that she wanted, and this was someone that she could live with, but she couldn't let herself believe that there was any truth in it. I do think, though, when I think about it now, that she probably would have blamed him or looked out for something to blame in him for everything, because she's going to be thinking, it's just like them, it's just like the other one, it's just like that. And it's difficult to move forward when you're like that. It's difficult if we cannot forgive. Am I saying it's easy to forgive? No, no. And isn't it easier for me to say it from where I'm standing because it didn't happen to me? Of course, it's easier for me to say it. But because I want you to be happy, I want you to have that love that you want, you're going to need to forgive. You're going to need to, you can't forget, but you can't forgive. And you're going to need to find healing. If you're upfront about what you've been through, you might be surprised the response you will get. And the same thing goes for men as well. When we don't treat women that are in our lives correctly, when you don't, I'm not a man, when you don't treat the woman in your life well, and you then meet someone, or maybe you've been treated badly by a woman, but not all women are the same. I hear from men now saying things like, so men now think that all women are the same. They just want a soft life. Also, you have to listen to Swipe Left to understand what I'm talking about. They want a soft life, and they want a man who's going to do all of these things for them, and that's all they want. So I'm also going to do whatever it is I want with them and give them what they want. But life cannot go on like that. The two wrongs do not make it right. Two wrongs do not make a right. Yes, that's my phone telling me what the time is. Two wrongs don't make it right. Where are we going to go with all this? Family was not broken or damaged by these two girls. It wasn't even when they were born. It wasn't even when the mother was born. It started from when the grandmother was thrown out by her husband's family. They were broken when they thought they could stand against the whole world. They are their own nuclear family. They are their own island, and whatever they did was right, and the whole world was wrong. They were broken when they looked at the younger brother who was molesting. There must have been more girls who was molesting girls, and they brushed it off. I don't know. Did they think it was right? Did they think it was he privileged? Was he? I'm not really sure. Was it his right to take any girl that he wanted? I do like what happened to him in the end. I'm not going to say that now. I do like what happened to him in the end. But they were broken. And the fact that this woman could not see beyond that was a problem. And then the rich girl, I would say this. She was broken when she also thought that she was the only thing that mattered. When her mother started treating this cousin of ours like a slave, and she didn't see it. When she did find out in the end, or rather when she went to school and thought it was easier, it was better to be friends with the popular girls rather than associate herself with her cousin, even though she had asked for her cousin to come to that school. She was already broken, thinking that whatever she did, whatever came to her was the right thing. And if the good things went to somebody else, that can't be right. I mean, seriously, why would it pass me by? She was already broken because none of us are perfect, and to think that only you can have the good things is a problem. And when the whole thing blew up and it came out that this had happened and this had happened, and you knew about this and she had to say to herself, she cannot believe that her mother, she could only believe that about her mother, that particular point where the mother knew and didn't do anything. But she also at the same time wanted to believe what was good about her mom, so that she could retain her sanity and not believe that her mother was capable of all the other things that then came out. Because I tell you, this woman was not repentant. She was not remorseful. She was still right. She was still her against the world. So, In what way are you broken? In what way are you damaged? And you know what? When I say damage, wait, I'm talking about your emotional self. I'm not saying something is wrong with you physically. The thing with emotional damage, the thing with emotional damage is scars cannot be seen. It cannot be seen, but you can see it. And every time something happens and you touch it and you rub it, it's festering. You're making the scar even harder. You're putting some ointment on it to say to yourself, yes, I was right. And you know what happens? Whether you're male or female, whatever it is that you're like, yes, I was right. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy because your behavior hasn't changed. You've done the same thing with this person, with that person. It's going to be the same. Since the minute that damage happened, since the minute you were hurt and you decided, this is how I'm going to approach it, you haven't changed your approach. You've done the same thing over and over again. It's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So, the baggage we carry, we need to take it off. We need to put it down. We need to go for help. We need to go for psychological help. Some of us we have good relationships, and you can't understand why it breaks up every 2 months. You know, you meet really nice people and you think you are good, and maybe you are good, but something happens. Every 2-3 months, the relationship is over. You need to sit and check. What am I doing or not doing? Because the problem might be you. It just might be you. Until next time, bye for now.